Yeah, I wanted to respond to O'Shea Duke Jackson's video regarding Joshua Beal and the dysfunctional black behavior. Um, as far as I know, this matter is still being investigated by the Chicago Police Department and the Cook County State's Attorney's Office. And I'm sure the Emperor, the citizen investigation arm of the police department. They investigate brutality cases and police shootings. So this thing is still up for it's still up for investigation. So I'm gonna hold my opinion about the whole thing until the facts come forth. As far as Mr. Beal having a gun permit from Indiana, that permit is no good in Illinois. You cannot, if you do not have an Illinois permit, you cannot carry. Um, State of Illinois does not recognize Indiana permits or any other permits from any other states as of now, as of right now. That may change in a couple of years, um, but as of now, Illinois does not recognize any other state permits. Now, I have a concealed carry permit, and my permit is recognized in about 28 states, including Indiana, Wisconsin, Michigan, um, Iowa, and Missouri, I believe. But it's more than that. But my permit, I can carry in those states with my permit. There are exceptions and exclusions in terms of the law. So anyway, um, I'm very familiar about the area in which this incident occurred, and the area where it occurred it's a community called Mount Greenwood. It's on the southwest side of Chicago, uh, and it's predominantly Irish Catholic. Um, Many state, federal, county, and city employees live in this area. Police officers, firemen, teachers, Cook County Sheriff's Police, Cook County Sheriff's deputies, etc., etc. So there are a lot. They have a lot. They have the lion's share of police officers that live in that area. So you can imagine what type of people live over there. Um, it has a somewhat notorious history of not so kind treatment towards black folks. I've had my share of incidents over in that area over a period of years. And it's just one of those things. So I will say this one thing. It has several cemeteries in that area, and there are a lot of funeral processions that go through there. Throughout the week, and especially on weekends. There are a lot of funeral processions, and I'll tell you, some of these funerals processions are filled with less than desirable people. Some of the gang members, and you know, some of these, what you, I guess you describe them as people from Negro Stand, who bury their loved ones in those cemeteries. So there have been some reports of gang members giving gun salutes at their comrades' funerals. Standing around shooting their guns in the cemetery. So I'm not gonna say that what you were saying is isn't correct. A lot of what you're saying is correct, with regards to the behavior of some of these people. uh but I have heard of incidents like that where you've had gang members shooting their guns in the cemetery when they're laying their comrades to rest. um but as far as the situation goes, the investigation is still ongoing. They're still trying to figure out what happened, and I'm sure that at some point they'll figure it out. But I'll tell you this one thing: if he drew his weapon, if he drew his weapon in terms of brandishing it, that is illegal use of a weapon. And that's automatic arrest right there. You cannot brandish a weapon. Brandishing is illegal. And that right there would get you locked up. Just pulling a gun out, especially if if it's later found out that your life wasn't in danger, you get locked up for that kind of behavior. So if he was brandishing, if he pulled out a weapon and his life, and if it isn't proven that he was in physical danger, then that's illegal use of a weapon. And you can get some time for that. But like I said, the area which they were, and I'm very familiar with that area. It's not a very nice area as far as to black folk or whatever. It's not nice at all. They're notorious for some of the things that they've done to black people over the years. So I'm taking that in consideration. But I'm not making a final determination as to what happened, and I'm waiting for the facts to come forth, in terms of what the investigation bears. So it's a tough situation. I'm sure that when you lose you lose a loved one. That's the emotions are high, people are upset or whatever, and people are on edge, especially after what happened to this Joshua's cousin, who in my estimations was a straight degenerate individual. Him and the young lady getting killed in the gas station was probably some payback for something that he did. So, I'm talking about the cousin whose funeral that they were attending. So I'm sure they were expecting something to happen in terms of some sort of retaliatory type of shooting or something, because that's what's been going on here. A lot of these guys, they go on to funerals and you're shooting people at funerals and candlelight vigils and all kinds of other crazy shit that's been going on. So I'm sure that's probably why Mr. Joshua brought a gun to the funeral, because he was probably expecting some type of action from whoever killed his cousin. So, but that's all I wanted to say. I just want to add on and put some of my perspective on it, because I live not too far from the Mount Greenwood community, and I know those people over there. So, but that's all I wanted to say.